This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
A former Navy SEAL talks about helping to find those missing in action. Thank you for joining us for FYI Weekend. I'm Lisa Sugart, sitting in for Ken Cara. Well, last week, FYI introduced you to a man who served our country as a Navy SEAL. John Davis of Freeland was actually involved in the last rescue mission in Vietnam. I had the chance to talk with him and a friend about his experience, and like most heroes, he told me he was just doing his job. We recently commemorated National POW MIA Day, and I'm here with two gentlemen to talk about what it means to remember those who are missing in action or prisoners of war. Joining me is Paul Thomas, who served with the Coast Guard, and also John Davis, who was a former Navy SEAL, both men also active with the American Legion in Freeland, Post 473. Paul is the American Legion Riders President, and John is the Senior Vice Commander for the post. John, I'm going to start with you. Recently, you told us that you were part of the last rescue mission in Vietnam, and I wanted to talk with you a little bit more about what you saw and went through. And you told me that this was not allowed to be talked about until just recently.
1972, it was totally classified. It didn't come about until 35 years later, where a man wrote the book. His name was Kenvin Doggery. He was a former Secret Service agent, retired. To get the story, he had to interview the members who were there. And he wrote the book. And personally, myself, I didn't even know the book was even out until somebody told me about it.
And your name's in it.
The name's in it. There are some pictures in it. It was called Operation Thunderhead.
What role did you play in this?
Just a rescue mission, just for the rescue mission. I was
a huge role, not just.
Huge role. I was a gunner to go in to assist the team. We trained for this for months. And when it actually happened, we went in, we had SDV vehicles, which are mini subs, which were attached to the submarine. And we could use them, instead of swimming in, we could use these vehicles, which was, we had a longer distance instead of the swim.
Do you still remember it like it was yesterday?
In a way, yes.
What goes through your mind when you see what's going on in the world today, knowing what you know?
I don't know. This world's all screwed up with the terrorist groups. I was glad to see when they took out Osama bin Laden. Eventually, I knew they were going to get him. I wasn't sure if one of the SEAL teams would get him or Army Delta Force. It took them about 10 years. They got him, though. But where one terrorist group goes and falls, there's another one that comes up, it rises up to replace the other. So it's never going to end.
Yeah. Well, we're glad we have people like you that are there to help protect us. And it's amazing that we have someone of your stature living right among us here in the Freeland area. And Paul, you were the one who told me about John. I did not realize. What does it mean to you knowing we have a man of his stature that was part of this rescue mission as part of the post in Freeland?
Oh, very proud to have John as a member. And again, John and I are very close friends. We grew up together. And I myself was very surprised to find out when he went into SEALs. And I know the determination he had to get through, and he made it. He's very proud of it, and I'm proud to know him.
John, I want to say thank you for your service, and Paul, thank you for yours as well. It's a very important issue that we're talking about to always remember and never forget, and you don't realize it that you have heroes living right here in our own backyard.
I'm not a hero. I just was doing my job for my country. I'm not no hero.
Well, we would beg to differ, but thank you again for your service. Special thanks to John and Paul for that special interview. Well, from the desk of Luzerne County District Attorney Stephanie Salavantis, in recognition of Domestic Violence Month, District Attorney Salavantis will be the guest speaker at the Domestic Violence Service Center's Empty Place at the Table. The annual event is a memorial to victims who have lost their lives to domestic violence in Luzerne County. It will take place Thursday, October 23rd in the rotunda of the Luzerne County Courthouse and is open to the public. For more information, you can go to domesticviolenceservice.org or call the telephone number that is up on your screen. And don't forget to pick up a copy of the Standard Speaker for the latest in local news happenings. And remember to sign up for breaking news alerts. Simply go to standardspeaker.com or check them out on their Facebook page as well. Still ahead on FYI Weekend, Senator John Yudichak has the latest on Senate Bill 76, which deals with property taxes in Pennsylvania. And there have been a lot of bear sightings this time of the year. Janine gets some important advice from Nescopec State Park.
This is FYI News 13, brought to you by SSPTV and the Hazleton Standard Speaker.
We're in your community at the Nescopec State Park on Saturdays on FYI Weekend, and we're back with Amy Shull. Amy, one of my fears is running into a bear this time of year, and I know a lot of you on your social media have posted pictures of bears that you've seen, talked about bears that you've taken video of, but really it could be very dangerous to come across a bear, right?
Well, I wouldn't say it's dangerous to come across them, but maybe to startle them. One thing you want to keep in mind is a bear is a wild animal.
Okay.
They are not predictable. So you want obviously give them their space. You don't want to approach them to pet them, feed them, photograph them from a distance. If you startle one, you come upon them unawares. If you're out jogging, you're out hiking, the best thing to do is to talk and just let the bear know you're there, because a lot of times they're not going to hear you coming. They have a very good sense of smell though. 9 times out of 10, they're going to smell you and they're going to take off, and you're probably just going to hear them rather than see them. If they don't, you just talk and alert them to your presence. That should be enough to have them wander off. You want to give them a wide berth. If they're using the trail, step downhill off the trail and let them use it.
Some people say you should make like some noise with.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you should make noise. It's not
Yeah.
that you should be quiet. You should let them know that you are present.
Make lots of noise, make yourself look as big as possible. If there's a picnic table or something to stand on it, clap your hands. If you're camping, bang pots and pans, that type of thing. Black bears are the only bear we have in Pennsylvania, and they are the most non-aggressive of the bunch. So it's, unless they're conditioned or used to people, it's easy to scare them off.
Now they would become aggressive, however, if they have their cubs with them.
Yeah, out with cubs you don't want to mess with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that instance, just stay far away?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, stay far away. Sometimes, when you have incidents like that, it's accidental when they get in between them, but you just want to back away and give them wide space. Yeah.
Now, what can we do if there is a bear maybe in our community and our developments in the city that we live in, as far as try to control your residency?
Well, one of the things to keep in mind is a bear is a very good memory for a food source. So you want to, if you feed the birds or the hummingbirds, bring your feeders in at night. Don't let dog food or cat food out for them. Don't put your garbage out, if at all possible, until trash morning. You want to remove that temptation, so to speak, and the bears will move on. This time of year, breeding season has ended. We're coming into fall where they're thinking about putting on a lot of pounds, so they're going to want to eat as much as possible. And if there's no food source around you, they're going to go find it somewhere else.
All right, some good tips about bears here in northeastern Pennsylvania. And you'll join us every Saturday on FYI Weekend as we enjoy the great outdoors.
Time now to look at the FYI Weekend Community Calendar. The 5th annual Beat MPS Golf Tournament will be held Saturday, October 11th at Sugarloaf Golf Club. The tournament will be a 4-person scramble with a shotgun start. There'll be a hole-in-one contest, Beat the Pro, potluck, and a putting contest. Awards will be given for closest to the pin, longest drive, and most accurate drive, and more. There will also be a silent sports auction from 10 till 5. For more information or to join this cause to help children with a terminal disease known as Sanfilippo syndrome, contact the Sugarloaf Golf Club at 570-383-4097, or you can call Ron Heller at the number on your screen or email them at the addresses that are up on your screen right now. Pennsylvania State Senator John Yudichak stopped by our studios earlier this past week. I had the chance to talk with him about several important topics, including Senate Bill 76. Will there be property tax reform in Pennsylvania? Well, that remains to be seen. Joining me now is State Senator John Yudichak. Senator, we saw Senate Bill 76 making its way out of the committee. Where does it go? Are you confident we're going to see property tax relief for Pennsylvania?
Well, I'm thrilled with the action of the Finance Committee in the Senate. This is as far as any major property tax elimination bill has ever gotten in the state Senate. So I have to give credit to Senator Dave Argel, Senators Fulmer, Senator Schwank, our colleagues who have worked together as prime sponsors of this bill to move it forward. 26 co-sponsors, 13 Democrat, 13 Republican, a bipartisan initiative, and so important, not only to homeowners, not only to our seniors, but really to the economy and the educational system of Pennsylvania. I think this issue, more than any other, is so important to the future of Pennsylvania and its economic opportunity, because if we don't have an adequately and fairly funded education system, we're not going to be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century economy. We're just simply not. And right now we have a 19th century funding system for our schools trying to fund a 21st century school system. So we need to eliminate property tax. The Senate Bill 76 has to move forward. We're, to use a football metaphor, we're in the red zone. We got a shot to get this over the goal line. What happens over the next 2-3 weeks is uncertain, but we are certainly moving the ball down the field on property tax reform.
I'm sure you hear about this a lot from people. I talked with State Representative Toohill the other day at her senior fair. She said people were coming up. That was the topic that everybody's talking about. I know people are getting annoyed that it's not happening sooner than later. So what do you say to the constituents when they say, why is it taking so long?
Well, this issue has been around for 40 years in Pennsylvania politics. It's been a dominant issue, particularly in certain regions, like here in northeastern Pennsylvania. And why is that? Well, in Luzerne County, being a coal region, 3% of the land mass of Luzerne County was abandoned coal lands. Very difficult to raise local revenue, local property tax revenue on abandoned coal land. So that shortchanges our kids and unfortunately overburdens our homeowners because they have to go into their pocket more and more to fund quality education. The state needs to step up, and Senate Bill 76 will do that. It takes a while. Now, we were able to get a good step forward with the gaming bill passed under Governor Rendell, where we were able to eliminate the property taxes for 40% of the seniors here in Luzerne County through the rent and rebate program. That's a successful program, but it's not enough. It's not getting enough help to our homeowners and small business owners across northeastern Pennsylvania. We're going to continue to push and try to get it done this session.
And the other subject that's on the burner all the time is pension reform, too. Where do we stand with that?
Pension reform, the Governor Corbett has several proposals that he's rolled out. There have been none to go through the committee process. To my knowledge, it's one that doesn't look like it's going to get to the goal line in this administration, but it's certainly something, because that gets to property tax issues. That gets to educational funding issues. There's no question we need to make some changes. I was there in 2001 when, under a Republican governor, Republican House, and Republican Senate, they tried to expand benefits by 50%. I voted no. I didn't accept those benefits, and I've been fighting ever since. We were able in 2010 to roll back those benefits, roll back and increase the retirement age, take away things like lump sum payments that have really expanded the liability. I mean, we're closing in on a $50 billion unfunded liability in our pension system. I'm hoping that in the gubernatorial election and the new administration of the next governor of Pennsylvania that we're going to see pension reform at the top of the list.
Until then, we see all these communities struggling, and this is really tough. Where are we going to go if this doesn't happen?
Well, and you hint at another issue. We have the state pension issue, but we also have a local municipal pension issue. And I think Auditor General Gene DePasquale has done a terrific job in raising awareness that many of these municipal plans are also underwater. That's very troubling for the taxpayers of Pennsylvania. We got to make sure that those obligations are met. When you sign a contract for a pension, I'm very concerned about this, as whether you're a state worker, whether you're a local worker. You've earned that. You've paid in your fair share. It's the responsibility of the Commonwealth and the local communities to meet those obligations. But the state needs to step up and do a little bit more and make sure that these are adequately funded.
Definitely a lot of tough issues still to come, so come back often and keep us up to date.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Senator John Yudichak.
It's time for Movie Minute right here on News 13, your weekly look at what's playing at Regal Cinema 10 just outside the Laurel Mall. 2 new releases this weekend. First, The Equalizer, rated R. Denzel Washington plays McCall, a man who believes he has put his mysterious past behind him. But when McCall meets Terry, a young girl under the control of Russian gangsters, he can't stand idly by. And also The Box Trolls, rated PG, a family event movie from the creators of Carolyn and Paranorman that introduces audiences to a new breed of family, the Box Trolls, a community of quirky, mischievous creatures. Still playing Guardians of the Galaxy, The Drop, No Good Deed, The Maze Runner, Dolphin Tale 2, A Walk Among the Tombstones, and This Is Where I Leave You. For all the showtimes, call Regal Cinema 10 at 570-450-7454, or to speak to a movie attendant, call 570-450-7340.
This is FYI News 13 Sports.
This is going to be a very interesting sportscast here with Craig Lukács from the Lackawanna Wildlife Sanctuary, the president and executive director there. And first off, this is up north, so maybe there's a chance you haven't traveled up there yet, but you should. Tell us a little bit about the sanctuary and what it offers.
Sure. We're on the shore of Lake Wallenpaupack, which is really off Interstate 84. It's really easy to get to, which is exit 20, the Greentown exit. We're about 5 miles or less than 5 miles away from the exit. Lackawanna Sanctuary is a field station, biological field station. We have an education center, and we also have hiking trails. So we do science. We teach the public about what we've learned in our science research, and then we also teach about education programs of how to preserve and sustain the environment.
LACA standing for Lackawanna County.
Well, actually, Lackawanna is an old Indian word which means fork, and it's the Lenape Indians, which were the Indians that lived in the area.
Is it in Lackawanna County?
It's not. It's actually Wayne County.
I was way off. I was 0 for 2 in that one. Now, the reason we're on the Sportscast, there's a run coming up to help benefit the Lackawanna Sanctuary. 8K run. There's also a walk. Now, the really cool part about this, if you want to talk about it, you're familiar with the area. It's during the fall, and it's kind of a beautiful course.
It is. We have 550 acres. It's an 8K course. We also have a walk, which is under a 3-mile walk. And we're going to be using our trails. So it's really a nature trail run. It's going to be October 19th. It's a Sunday, 11 a.m. start time. But the best part of it, it's in the middle of October, and so we're hoping that the leaves will be perfect at that time of year. And the nice thing is we're running between 2 lakes. We're running between Lake Wallenpaupack, and we actually have our own private lake, Lake Lackawanna. And so people will be able to run the 8K course, which is 5 miles around those 2 lakes.
Have you run the course before, or have you looked at the courses? Do you think it's challenging? I mean, what level is this? Is this like, how would you rate it?
It is a challenging course because our property drops significantly in feet from the top of our property down to Lake Wallenpaupack. So there are hills and there are climbs on the course. So I would say half of the course is a little bit of hilly, and the trail is actually not that bad. So it's not like you're jumping over rocks and stuff like that. It's pretty decently flat in those areas, but definitely there are some climbs. So I would say it's a moderate race, not extreme difficulty, but a beginner can also do it as well.
So raising funds, you do go out in the community. Tell people a little bit about what you do and where some of this money might go.
Sure. We actually go into the school districts. We actually bring school districts to us. But more importantly, because of curriculums and the constraints on curriculums these days, we actually go into after-school programs. So we service Lackawanna, Luzerne, Pike, and Wayne counties, and we go into after-school programs where kids may have higher risk to be at academic failure. And so we basically supplement their science programs and teach them hands-on experiments and kind of supplement what's been learning in the classroom once a week.
So this is kind of nice, maybe a destination for your runners out there. Get away for the weekend and check out the Run to Benefit Lackawanna Sanctuary and the website on your screen right now. You can go there to sign up. It's the weekend, and I love sitting at a high top, ordering some delicious apps and having a few beverages with my friends at Bottlenecks, where they have an awesome atmosphere with awesome food.
Hello again. Here I am with Fred. Fred is about 1 to 1.5 years old, so he's very young and playful and has a lot of energy, and he's a little Chihuahua mix. We're not sure what all he's mixed with because he was brought to us as a stray. Little Fred here is already neutered and up to date on all of his shots. He has also been tested for heartworm and Lyme and came up negative for both. As you can see, he's very playful and loves to run. Despite his size, he would probably do well with a bigger yard because he loves to stretch his legs. He's very active being a younger dog. He's also equally affectionate. As much as he loves to run and play is as much as he loves to be held and cuddled. He loves to be in someone's arms and is very people-oriented. We're not quite sure what he's like with other dogs, if he's friendly with them or not. And that's it for this week's dog. Let's have a look at our cats. And here I am with Bubba. Bubba is an approximately 8-month-old domestic shorthair who is already neutered and up to date on all of his shots. As you can see, he loves to be held. He's very comfortable in a person's arms. He's also, because of his age, very playful as well. I recommend having a few toys on hand for Bubba here. He also gets along very well with other cats, and we highly recommend him for a household that already has animals because of his ability to, because of his strong bond with other animals around him. Otherwise, he's very, very affectionate with people and equal parts playful. He's up to date on all of his shots and was tested for feline leukemia and FIV, and of course came up negative for both. So if anybody at home is interested in Bubba here or our dog we featured earlier, please come down to 101 North Poplar Street here at the Hazleton Animal Shelter.
Everybody loves Adopt Me. Great job, Mike Terleski, once again. Well, that'll do it for FYI Weekend. Kenny Kara's back at the desk on Monday. Have a great weekend. Get out and enjoy the sunshine.